chat. Actually, let's do a little practice right now. Let's see. We have quite a few of you on deck here. Tell me where you're from just real quick. Like, yeah, I guess I'm from Riverside, California. I work out of the Ontario office. So I'm going to say SoCal, right? But we got some people from Houston. Nice. San Diego. I'm going to be down there next week. Where else? Salt Lake, Encinitas. Okay, so some of you have found where the chat is. That's ideal, right? And this is where you can ask them your questions. Haha, gotcha. So yeah, the goal of this session, right, is to tackle, what's new to 2021 in Visualize, and there's some great new things that are pretty fun. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to jump into Visualize here. So, the first thing I'm going to look at is this assembly. And on this backside, there's this really nice bloom, right? It's like, just generally speaking, all the rendering and all the visual feedback we get in Visualize is just been improved, and it's improving with each GPU release too. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this bracket. It's very generic right now, right? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply a 3D printed texture to this bracket, and we're gonna use a new displacement bump, right? So instead of using the bump option, right, to apply this texture, we're using displacement. And I'm looking at this file here, and I kind of did this intentionally. Like, displacement doesn't look so great right now, but here, if I just modify this displacement density option here at the bottom, which is also kind of it's kind of the 1-2 here, we can make this thing look a whole lot better. And so we're going for some sort of 3D print, function here. So, or 3D print look rather. So I've grabbed one that I've already kind of prepped up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this 3D print texture to instead of it being box, to be a planar. And I also just changed the offset here by 45 degrees. So we can print this at an angle to make it look, or print this at an angle to make it stronger, and then we can represent that. So here is a quick little tip on selecting, or just like appearance selecting rather, right? So I'm going to select the red appearances and then copy this black appearance onto the other components. All right, so that's going to do it for that guy. A little tricky to show that one at the moment, so I had the video running for us, but we're going to jump into this toon render option now. So let's jump back into Visualize 2021 now, and play around with this toon render. Okay, so toon render is new, right? This is like a new function. I really like this tool. I think a lot of the time we have renders that kind of just need to look decent but not perfect, and so I think that's like really where this toon render option kind of shines. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint this little default image here red, just so we can work with it a little bit. And then I think this bottom one, we can just leave it that color. So the toon render option is found under cameras. Your camera will have to be unlocked for you to use it. So if you lock a camera, just remember that your toon render option will be disabled. So you just unlock it. And toon here, new at the bottom. I'm going to check this on, and you can see you kind of get like a generic looking render out of it, which I think is perfect for a lot of the things that don't really need that really high detail attention, and we just want it to look better than what it looks like in SolidWorks, right? Like, so this is the toon render with black edges, and then we can do white on black, and then we can do black on white, which is just inverted, and ambient occlusion, which kind of gives it that like black and white, but then you have some of the shadows in there that kind of make it look interesting. And then And the last thing here is custom, which allows you to change your edge color, and then change your shading options. And then your tune detail, you can kind of shift this up or down. Right. So the tune render option is like, I feel like it's the easy button, right? So do you want the really custom, accurate looking render, which Visualize is really good at, right? With, you know, array and ray tracing and all that jazz. Or do you want, you know, the easy button? You know, we have that now. It's the tune render. So yeah, I'm totally digging it. Let's see. Let's try something else here. We're going to go back into a new camera, and we're going to insert, unless I've inserted one already. Nope. We're going to create a new cutting plane. And I think this option kind of just stemmed from us engineers kind of like, you know, enforcing some of our habits that we have in SolidWorks. And that's that when we create a section plane in SolidWorks, right, we get a capping option. And so we have that option now here in Visualize to do the cutting planes, and we can cap it with our, you know, our blue that we're so used to. But yeah, now when you create a cutting plane inside of Visualize, you have the option to cap the ends, which is just a nice, subtle enhancement, right? Cool. Okay, so there's a couple more options that I've kind of just found on my own, right? And I think one of them is that you have the preview, the fast, and the accurate render now for AMD GPUs, which is kind of cool. So that was always the thing for NVIDIA GPUs, to have, you know, the preview, the cartoon looking mode versus the fast mode versus the accurate mode. And now that's kind of across the deck, across the board, on all, you know, on both GPU platforms rather. So, and if you need a quick refresher on where that's at, you can go to 3D viewport, and then you can turn on, with, you know, if you're using an NVIDIA card, you'd want to run NVIDIA, right? And then if you're using an AMD card, you can turn on your AMD Pro Render option. You know, it turns out if you have an AMD GPU, you can actually use both NVIDIA and AMD. But if you have an NVIDIA card, or if you have an AMD card, it won't work on the iRay. So yep, that's interesting. And the last couple of things I wanted to chime in here was some of the stuff that we published on our website. So this should be some really good information for you all, but we've worked pretty hard at creating some really great content on our website, and specifically like on the Visualize page. So let me go ahead and trek this over here. So if we go to SolidWorks, we trek on down to technical communication, and we can find the SolidWorks Visualize page. By the way, this is our new website, right? So got some really cool stuff here. But on our Visualize page, we have some really great comparisons between the AI denoiser, professional versus standard. And the one I really wanted to show you guys today was the interactive 360 view, right? So I think this one is underexposed. I don't think a lot of people talk about it. But what's really great about this is you can take your CAD model, render all the different views so that you can zoom in and then zoom out and then look at different regions of the render, right? And so these are just a whole bunch of pictures that are sewn together and then put up on our website, and you know, you can manipulate and do the 360, right? So I was going to spend a little bit of time talking about this because I feel like it's something that we can definitely use, and we can definitely use more often rather. And it's just great content for a lot of people to interact with our documents. So let's go ahead and check that out here real quick. So just globally, like, you know, our 360 render options are found in our render tool. And, you know, you're going to do your standard render, And what we're looking for here is interactive image. Now, this can get a little confusing sometimes. This is like my quick tip on interactive images. But you have orbits and starting angle, and then images per orbit and ending angle. So how do I navigate the waters on these, right? So you can imagine that your starting angle and ending angle are like your head tilting up and down, right, looking at the model. So if you had a starting angle of 15 and an ending angle of 15, you'd get one orbit, right, around the file, kind of like the equator, right? You'd be cruising around the equator, and you can spin it in 360 degrees, but you can't go up or down. And then we have how many orbits do you want? Well, so here to simplify this, right? And let's do 30 here. I think 30 is like a good number. It's a good angle. So we can do just the one orbit, and then 360 images per orbit is a little overkill, but that would give us one image every degree from 0 to 360 degrees along, like around the entire equator if it was at 30 degrees elevated, right? So you'll have 360 images, right? And then, okay, maybe I want one every, I don't know, 4 degrees, right? So we'll do 100, or we'll do one every 3 degrees. We'll do 120, right? And then so now you're rendering 120 images at whatever resolution you're looking for. You know, you could even take this down to like 60, right? So that'd be every 6 degrees. And then you could say, well, maybe I want to have a little bit of the customer to be able to tilt it up and tilt it down a little bit. So we'll go 15, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that's 6. And then 6 orbits. All right, so now you'll get 6 times 60 pictures. And then you'll be able to like move up and move down just a little bit. I'm gonna check chat real quick. All right. Let's see here. Of course, you know, if you're saving 6 times 60 images, you have to be very, very careful of your resolution and your size here, right? You don't want to have your web page take so long to load. Also, you don't want to spend, you know, all day waiting for Visualize to create the renders. If, you know, depending on what graphics card you have, of course, this could take anywhere from, you know, 10, 15 minutes to 10, 15 hours, right? Depending on how slow your GPU is. So that's my little quick tip on the 360 render option. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's really cool, and I think more people should use it because it's really easy to use. And if you're using like WordPress as your website, they have 360 stitchers where all you do is dump all of your images into these apps for the website. Magento and WordPress, by the way, right? They both have these little 360 apps. You just drop all your pictures in that app, and then you place that app somewhere on your website, and then you can 360 rotate. Cool. Okay, so there is one last bucket I wanted to jump in today, and then we'll just open it up for questions. And that was in a different tool altogether. So this is swcomposerwebdesign.com. I'm also the Composer advocate too. So I wanted to slip a little bit of Composer in here while I was at it. And I think this website's really great and really fun, and you can really tell your story with Composer. And this kind of shows you, right? So right off the bat, when you go to swcomposerwebdesign.com, right, you can see this little video, and then you can go to this product page, and then you can click around. And this is like a little add to cart function. So you can click on some components and like, oh, here's the exploded view that I want. Oh, let's see if this next exploded view is what I want. And then click on a part. And then you can add this to cart and then click and then add to checkout, view and cart. And it's just this really seamless process. And so I've been helping customers do this a lot lately. Like there's a ton of demand for this. And so I made like a little sample website just one night for whatever reason. And then we also have this really great example on our website that's kind of cool too. Under technical communication, we'll go to SolidWorks Composer, and there's like an assembly instruction option, right? So this is, you know, that was like the add to cart function. And, you know, our web team worked really hard on this too, getting all this information in, but you could just step through the process, right? You just go next. Okay, what do I do next? you know, and then you walk someone through the process on how to maintenance something, assemble it, reassemble it, tear it down, you know, whatever it is. So, of course, all of these pictures and all of these options can be published a multitude of different ways. We just publish them in HTML because it's easy to share, right? But, you know, the diversity of both Visualize and Composer are awesome. And so I just wanted to chime in with that before I wrap this up and open it up to some questions. Anyone have any questions? I'm looking at the Q&A. I'm looking at the chat. Oh, we have Angela Smith. What about SolidWorks Cell? Yeah. Okay, so SolidWorks Cell is another really cool tool for SolidWorks. It lets you bundle things into like different configurations or into like different display states essentially, and then create a configurator for your website so that your customers can go build these different things. So imagine that you were shopping for sunglasses, right? And then you know, you had 30 different frames and you had 30 different lenses. And then you had, you know, different hardware, whether they're gloss or black. And if you were a vendor for sunglasses, you would have to have 30 times 30 times however many different combinations and permutations of those sunglasses in stock, right? So, so you'd have to have a ton of sunglasses to make one sale, which is kind of a bummer. And so what you can imagine what you could do with SolidWorks Cell is create an online configurator so that your customers can order exactly what they want, and then you build to order, right? So you don't have to keep all that inventory on deck. And if you want to know more about like online configurators, you can definitely hit me up at ahughes@goengineer.com, you know, or just reply in chat here, and we can definitely help you out with that too. Cool. Okay, what else? What else we got? What kind of questions are there? All quiet on the front. Okay, there you go. My company is using GoEngineer and SolidWorks, and I convert a step file into SolidWorks. Can I use this in Visualize? Sure, sure can. You can actually just import a Pro E file into Visualize too if you want it. Entirely up to you. But the workflow from SolidWorks to Visualize is really convenient because what that allows you to do is, you know, take the SolidWorks file and then paint it. And then if the SolidWorks file updates, you know, you could have the import, you know, turned on. And then so it would recognize that the file's changed. Everything that's unchanged remains painted. Anything that gets updated with new paint, and any new components, you just repaint. So there's that kind of waterfall effect, right? When you're working with Visualize and SolidWorks files, right? There's that reciprocity between the file types. Josh is asking, what is the online configurator called again? Spelling. It's called SolidWorks Cell. I can just post that in here. I just replied with the naming on that. Also, you know, huge advocate of AMD and NVIDIA. You know, they make awesome products. I'm running an AMD Radeon Pro 7 right now on my computer. It's a brand new workstation card that just came out. And got some cool stuff in the mail. A Radeon Pro RTX 5000. Gonna be testing this really soon with Visualize. So keep on the lookout on our YouTube channel for both a benchmark with the Radeon Pro 7 from AMD, and then the NVIDIA RTX 5000 with Visualize 2021. So it's right around the corner. Working on those. It'll be here soon. Okay, I think we're pretty good on time. No problem, Josh. Thank you for asking the question. I appreciate that. What does it take to get people to ask questions? A gift card? $100? An RTX 4000? I give one of those away. All right, I'm pulling teeth here. I'm pulling teeth. That's about all I had today. Kayla.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Well, that concludes our third presentation for the morning sessions. We are going to take a lunch break. So that'll be about an hour and a half or so, maybe an hour and 20. And then we will come back after that to do a replay of this morning's presentation. So if you have a coworker or somebody else that you feel might want to watch these, please share the afternoon presentations with them. Or if you missed some of the earlier sessions, you can always just come right back. So those will begin at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So we will see you back then. And again, if you guys have any comments, questions, anything like that, you can just leave those right in the chat and then somebody will get back to you. And we will be back in about an hour and 20. See you then.